The Wheel of Emotions. It's research that started in the 70s, and the wheel was designed by a woman named Gloria, something in the 80s. Like, I have all that information. Um, and I like my students to, like, we'll do this thing where we are just laying quietly in the dark, and I give them an emotion to experience and run through. And basically, like, I'm trying to teach them not the word, but the embodied reaction, and then how you connect the reaction to the word. And maybe it's not the right word for the right embodied action, or you've shut off hearing many embodied actions that you taught yourself to, like training yourself not to be hungry. So you've shut off listening to that and attuning with that, and that prevents you from having a rich and full life. And I think, like, this language is starting to be used to explain the Will Smith slap. It's also used to explain, corporate greed, and it certainly is starting to help young people understand and address their own mental fitness and wellness. Because we need to have knowledge of our senses and the sensory languages and messages in order to manage the stress of the 21st century.
Yeah.
I believe that. So part of me looks at the question of illiteracy and says, okay, if you're not going to read, then you have to do this other thing, which is all about embodiment. You have to make practice for dancing, for like regularly, and then pay attention to what your body is saying and do it. There's some things that are easy to do, like when you're interested in something. This is an easy interview for me to give. I'm involved, I'm interested, and I'm going to give you what I got.
Good.
It's harder to be in control of surprise.
Yeah.
It's harder to be in control of nostalgia. It comes up. I was a young person once. I did fun things.
Yeah.
Oh, the good old days. Similarly, like, it's really easy to get angry, but control that anger, right? Like, we can choose how we're going to display our irritation or anger. Maybe just let it go. But, like, it's hard to control sadness. When you're in despair, you can't bring yourself out of it just because you have control. You have no control. In fact, when you feel pity, that's not something you control. That's the external environment triggering something in your body that. So I try to start there, and whatever it is that I'm teaching, it involves movement and action and what students do. So mostly I give information, but then I provide what I would call challenging learning activities. First of all, my directions make perfect sense in my head, but they make no sense at all. So managing risk and openness and abstraction, that's part of what the assignment asks of you. When they say, how many words, do you say, how many words? Like, how long does this have to be? Is that you?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know people who say, you're making me write an essay, how long does it have to be?
Yeah.
That's a pretty common thing, right?
Yeah. But it's also because school just puts it in your head.
The industrial model of education is not serving us.
No,
Similarly, many of the human reactions to triggers that cause fight, that engage the autonomic nervous system into sympathetic or parasympathetic response, fight or flight or freeze or collapse or convulse. Like, these are all ways the body tries to take care of itself, and your body sending messages about what to do for your survival.
Yeah.
Those were good for our hominid ancestors. They are not serving us. And so we have to do something about it. I come to the senses through this body work, because the only way a body or a mind or a human can access the external world is through the senses. It seems so simple. Like, I'm not going to teach you math. What does it smell like? What does it sound like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? And then getting into feeling, we're talking about emotions. So I'm back at my wheel, because I think the sense of touch is so much more complicated than it's made to seem. It's not just about the fake, let me touch it. Like, proprioception is the sense of touch, and balance and temperature, they're all touch oriented knowledge. But I don't think we think about knowing the temperature because we feel something on our skin. We usually have to go outside, but look at a thermometer or look at a number, which is fake.